We're back to give you the legal edge. By order of the governor, face masks are now required in all indoor spaces and outdoor spaces when social distancing isn't possible. There are only a few exceptions. The governor says this is the law, but many of our viewers still have questions about that. So I sat down with attorney Bryan Waldman today to clear things up.
Bryan, I want to read you a couple of quotes from people who've commented on social media saying these executive orders are guidance, not law. And another one saying the mask rule is not law or executive order, all of which have to be passed through Congress. Now, that's just a fraction of some of the comments that we get regularly. So set everyone straight, Bryan.
All right. Well, I mean, very simply, a law is simply a rule for a community or a society. And laws can take many forms: statutes, which is what I think your viewers are referring to, ordinances, and orders issued by government officials. So once a rule is out there, it's the law, whether you agree with it or not. Now, some laws are challenged, as was the case, with some of the governor's orders here. The Michigan House and Senate challenged it. But so far, the courts in Michigan have said the governor has the authority to issue these orders and to issue reasonable orders to protect public health.
So the ones we're talking about, the newest order, the newest executive order is a law, and the governor is requiring that people obviously wear face masks in indoor spaces and outdoor public spaces when social distancing isn't possible. But this law, this newest law, goes a step further, asking private businesses to enforce this law and refuse service to people who are not wearing a mask. And as we've been seeing, this can turn violent.
Yeah, it's a difficult position to be in if you're a business or if you're now someone who's working at a restaurant or a store. Police are trained in de-escalation techniques and enforcing laws. That's kind of new to the job description for maybe a hostess at a restaurant or a salesperson.
So is that something the governor can ask private businesses to do, is enforce this law?
To be honest, Siobhan, I thought exactly the same thing when I read this order. Like, can the governor actually require a private business or a private person to enforce a law? And what I did is I went and I pulled the smoking ban that we have in certain public places like restaurants. And the language is very similar to what's in the governor's order. It requires businesses to post signs. It requires them to stop people from smoking or ask them to stop smoking. And if they won't, to refuse service to them. So, there is some precedent. That law's been out there and it's a valid law. So, the answer is it's not clear whether the governor can do this. I suspect it will be challenged, but there is some precedent.
Thank you, Bryan.